Riding around with yeah. Gotta grind hard, gotta stack it every day. Yeah. Grind hard, gotta get it every day. Yeah. Grind hard, gotta stack it every day. Every way. Grind hard, gotta get it every day. No beast, no dog. I'm just really a new breed on you, dog. It hurts to say that people keep no loyalty. Work your way, real one show that loyalty. Cause I still ride with them. When I go see them, I just hit 5 with them. 20 years in, you can't get tied to it. Boys to the men, and we get tied to it, ayy.
What up, y'all? Dash Kings with TG. And today we're going to talk about my man, Sleepy Joe, and his unreasonable or unrealistic expectations on trucking, man. Seems like the man is trying to make it to where everything is electric. Now, my thing is like the infrastructure. Like you already see is a big problem infrastructure with infrastructure or with regular cars as far as these electric cars, no charging stations, the batteries die in extreme temperatures, whether it be hot and or cold. It's just the infrastructure for electric vehicles in today's climate is almost a death wish as far as on the economy and the impact as far as what it'll do is it'll be devastating. And I have a video that I want to show you regarding that. At least within the trucking world, that'll be retarded, man. I'm telling you. And for lack of excuse me for using that word, but that'll be crazy. And lack of better terms. So give me 1 second. I'm gonna show y'all what's going on with that. And let me start my man over. All right, y'all check it out.
The White House is rolling out the strictest climate standards ever on heavy-duty vehicles, buses and trucks. Grady Trimble at the White House. All right, Grady, truckers are pushing back, I understand. What are they saying?
They are, Stu. They're not happy with it at all, saying it's going to be really, really expensive and probably unrealistic to transition to electric trucks. This rule is pretty similar to the EPA's rule on tailpipe emissions for passenger vehicles. It just applies to big semi-trucks. Might come as no surprise to you that the environmental groups like it. The Sierra Club says it's crucial that truck manufacturers get into the fast lane with zero-emission trucks to deliver the climate, health, and economic benefits we deserve. As we mentioned, it'll apply to semi-trucks, but also city buses, box trucks, and garbage trucks, starting with model year 2027 and getting progressively more strict through 2032. Practically what it means is a lot more electric trucks and buses on the roads by then. The groups representing the trucking industry and the bus industry say the new rules are unaffordable, and they say that means higher prices for you and me.
So let's start off with that alone. Higher prices for everybody. We talking freight, we talking delivery of that freight, we talking pay. You might get paid higher, but if everything else costs higher, then are you really getting paid higher? You know what I'm saying? But let's not even get on that. Just to operate the cost of operating in that type of climate is making everything expensive. And in order for them to try to turn this infrastructure in which we already have into an electric infrastructure is pretty much it's damn near impossible at this point in time, bro. Like you're trying to do a 20 to 30 year process within 5 to 7 years, and honestly, that's suicide. That'd be suicide to a economy that's already in shambles at the moment. So check it out.
The milk, eggs, bread, fuel we put in our cars, the medications, everything that we rely on every day. When cost of transportation goes up, so do the cost of all those other things that we pay for. And that's when reality sets in.
The trucking industry points to these numbers from the Clean Freight Coalition. They say going all electric will cost about $1 trillion, and that's just for charging infrastructure and grid updates, Stu. Doesn't even include the cost of the electric trucks themselves, which can be 2-3 times more expensive than diesel semi-trucks. The environmentalists, Stu, argue that those numbers and the methodology in getting those numbers are flawed.
So, like my man said, it's gonna cost about $1 trillion, $1 trillion to get infrastructure to even have the charging system, not even the equipment, bro. We don't even have the equipment yet. That's why I say like all of this type of stuff is kind of insanity to kind of just think like, oh, it's willy-nilly, we can just just make it electric. Like it doesn't work. It's not that simple. Like a whole industry like that. You know how many other industries are tapped into that? The fuel industry, logistically, as far as, is it more efficient? How long can the truck run that's electric under a full 40? Let's say it's a fully loaded freight. It's at 45,000 pounds. You got 45,000 pounds in your trailer. How efficient can that electric truck run? We don't even know because we don't have the equipment yet. We don't even have the equipment yet. Now I can check. You know what? I'm gonna tap in. Let me see if I can find a video about how these Tesla trucks operate when they're fully loaded. Give me 1 second.
Truck.
It's to me, it's kind of insane to even. I don't know, man. It's not a good thing to just try to just flip the whole economical system of
Andre, I am super jealous. You got to do something.
You don't have the infrastructure. I said this even about cars. I was like, so how are they going to necessarily try to tell us to buy cars, electrical vehicles, and you don't have the infrastructure as far as the charging systems? How you don't even know the range of how far they go. You don't know how they operate in inclement weather. Like, we don't know nothing, but we know we want them, though, ain't it? That don't make sense. To me, it's dumb. But to some of you guys, it might be real. It might be a cool thing.
Hello, everyone.
Let's see what my man is.
Hello, everyone, and welcome. In 2017, Tesla said you could order and take delivery of your Tesla Semi in 2019. Well, here it is, 2022, and that has not happened yet, but apparently it's going to happen this year, which leads me to this interesting internal conflict I have with Tesla, in that I think cool engineering is really cool, but I also think deceptive marketing is one of the most infuriating things out there. And Tesla happens to be very good at both of these things. However, with math, you can turn deceptive marketing into reality. And so that's what we're going to be doing in this video. We're going to look at 6 aspects of the Tesla Semi and see whether or not the math checks out. Who's excited? Looks like Bill Gates is. Let's do this. So we're going to start out with battery size and weight, because Tesla doesn't tell us what the weight of the battery is, nor what the capacity of it is.
Not to mention, I didn't even mention inclines and declines. I didn't even mention inclines and declines. We're not even talking going down 70 in Colorado, 15 in Utah, Arizona. We're not even talking that. We're talking flat straightaways. I'm gonna let him get back to it. My bad. I got a little excited. Let me let him get back to it.
And so the big challenge with an electric semi is that there is a maximum limit on how much your semi with trailer can weigh, and that is 80,000 pounds. You cannot exceed this.
So you heard him say you cannot exceed 80,000 pounds. DOT law. You will get stopped every single time. I run these weigh stations daily. I know what I'm talking about. So how much is the batteries going to weigh to actually move the vehicle? Let me let him explain. My bad.
So if your truck weighs a lot and your trailer weighs a lot and your batteries weigh a lot, well, that means that's less cargo that you can take around, because this is the ceiling. You cannot exceed 80,000 pounds. Well, from Tesla's impact report, they say the Semi has over 500 miles of range and can get better than 0.5 miles per kilowatt hour. Do some simple math, 500 divided by half, and that gives you an estimated battery capacity of about 1,000 kilowatt hours, assuming those two numbers are true and fairly close to reality. Now, Tesla's battery chemistry, they're capable of achieving around 0.275 kilowatt hours per kilogram of battery. So we simply take 1,000 divided by 0.275, and that gives us 3,600 kilograms just for battery cells alone, or about 8,000 pounds. Now, again, this is just the battery cell.
So 8,000 pounds already taking off your 45 that you can have, 46 that you can have in your trailer, right? That's 8,000 already taken off, and that's just one battery, I'm assuming. Now, I'm going to let my man get back to it, but that's just one battery. How efficient is that? It's not even the whole vehicle. It's not efficient at all. Let me let him get back to it.
So you, of course, need a structure for all of that. If you look at a large EV example that isn't necessarily all that weight efficient, but a large EV example that can kind of give us the upper boundary of what this might weigh, the Hummer EV has a 200 plus kilowatt hour pack that weighs about 3,000 pounds. So some rough math there, if you multiply 3,000 pounds by 5 to get a 1 megawatt hour battery pack, well, then you get a 15,000 pound battery pack. Now, Tesla's definitely going to be under that. And they're definitely going to be over that unless.
So what he's saying is the battery itself is going to be in between 8 to 15,000 pounds. Do you know how much freight that's cutting off? You know you get paid as far as how heavy the freight you are and how far you're running it. I haven't even gotten to how long the batteries themselves last. We talking about how much the batteries weigh. That's crazy. Like that's crazy to me. Anyway, I'm cutting them off. Let me let my brother explain here what's going on. My bad.
They have some magic chemistry that they've created in the meantime. So I believe it'll be somewhere between these two, probably around 10 to 12,000 pounds for the battery. Now that's a lot, right? But it's not crazy. And there's a couple reasons why it's not all that crazy. So the average Class 8, meaning semi-truck, that's how they're classified in the US, the average weight of one of these things, the diesel ones, is about 17,000 pounds. And about 4,000 pounds can be attributed to the engine and related components to that engine. So that is a big chunk of weight. Certainly electric motors aren't going to weigh anywhere near this, but you have that really heavy battery. The other advantage that you have with electric semis is they're given a plus 2,000 pound weight limit. So an electric semi, as well as a natural gas semi, because these also have additional equipment that weigh more, they're allowed a ceiling of 82,000 pounds, which means you get a buffer of about 2,000 pounds extra for the EV. And plus, you don't have that giant heavy engine. So while it's probably going to be slightly heavier than the semi, part of it is allowed, and you still won't have too much of a reduction in cargo capacity. So as far as battery size and weight, the math actually does.
And honestly, you can tell this guy doesn't drive trucks. He just do maths. He puts equations on boards, and he don't know nothing. And the reason why I'm being kind of disrespectful to this big face bastard is because, with this equipment that we drive, it has to be compatible. I would take a diesel engine, a Cummins, or whatever it is that you drive, anytime over some monkey ass fucking 8 to 15,000 pound batteries that can be compromised at any time due to weather. Do you not understand that we drive at all times of the year? You peon, you goofy. Let me get back to the peon here. Now he was my friend. Get back to it. Let me go to the range.
18.5 feet tall, including the tires. That's pretty much a box, and it's pretty much unavoidable. You pretty much have to use this area, this box of an area, as your frontal area. Now, for this example, I'm going to give them a foot off the bottom and say that some of that air passes underneath the truck, and it's not obstructed as far as frontal area. So we're going to give them a little bit of a benefit there with front area, which we're not going to do for our second example. We're going to assume that entire rectangle. The velocity is going to be 60 miles per hour. That's what Tesla said in their reveal that they could do this at. So the semi is traveling at 60 miles per hour. Coefficient of rolling resistance of the tires at just 0.005. That's extremely good. Efficiency of 95% from the battery to the wheels. That's extremely good, but it is theoretically possible in an EV. We're going to say there's no wind and there's no time spent accelerating or decelerating. We're just at a constant 60 miles per hour, going down a perfectly flat road with no wind, and all of the variables happen to work out in our favor. Well, how much energy would you need in order to do that scenario for 500 miles? You would need roughly 800 kilowatt hours. And so that is less than 1,000. So theoretically possible here. If Tesla does come out and say that the battery capacity of the semi is 800 kilowatt hours or less, I would then be skeptical of it actually achieving that 500-mile range. Because
now, I want y'all to understand that most truckers within the 11-hour period that we drive can clear over 500 miles easy. Easy. Now, what I'm saying is, if that's taking more than 80% of my battery, how long is it going to charge it? How long is it going to take to charge? It's not like I can just hop in pilot and, refuel and keep it pushing. It obviously takes time to charge the batteries, right? Get to that.
Because in the best case scenario, that's basically the absolute minimum. This one is very simple and easy to verify. So Tesla says they can charge this battery, this massive battery, 70% in 30 minutes. And so the thing is, with battery charging, that is simply limited to the cell, right? So you can have a ton of cells and you can still charge all of them at the same rate. You just need more power to do it. So it isn't crazy. They're already doing, 70% of a battery charge in 30 minutes. So that is not anything.
Wait a minute. I might have went too far ahead, because now I'm looking at the other side here. When he's going up a 1% incline, it takes 2,000 kilowatt, so it can only go 250 fucking miles. Isn't the charging rate for the battery 1,000 kilowatts? This is a goofy idea, dog. This is pure goofy. Places like Colorado, Utah, the hills in Pennsylvania, Missouri, y'all not getting nothing if you depending on a Tesla truck. If you depending on a Tesla truck, you not getting nothing in them towns. Ozarks, Denver, Salt Lake City, you ain't getting shit. Because it's not going to be efficient. I got to charge. Matter of fact, I might have to charge in the middle of the mountain. I might have to charge in the middle of the mountain, dog. Let me go back.
And so that is less than 1,000. So theoretically, it's going to be going up a 1% grade.
A
So for
1% grade? Are you serious? Truckers, now tell me if you out there, you don't go down over 9% grades every goddamn day. You can't be serious. A 1% grade?
Miles, a 1% grade. Then you have a drag coefficient of 0.5. I think this is still really good. So don't think that this is some crazy high number. It's still very good, but just consider that you don't have this perfect trailer that matches, and so your drag coefficient's a bit higher. Frontal area, as we've gotten there, we're traveling at 70 miles per hour. That seems more realistic for a semi-truck. We're going to say the rolling resistance coefficient is slightly higher. We're going to say our efficiency is 90%, still really good. Again, you have to consider auxiliary things that you're running. So, running the heat in the cabin or things like that. If you have wind, so we're going to say we have a 10 mile per hour headwind for this drive. And we're spending some time accelerating and decelerating. So we have to account for inertia in this equation. Well, if you do this scenario, which isn't unfeasible, right? I mean, this certainly could happen. These are not numbers that are just like, oh, that's crazy. Never would a semi-truck ever encounter these scenarios. If you do the math there, well, that gives you about 2,000 kilowatt hours of required energy, meaning the actual range of this truck in these conditions is just 250 miles rather than 500.
Now, I want you to tell me how efficient that is when you're going up a 1% upgrade, incline. When you climbing up 70, instead of going west, you coming east because you coming from the Utah area through Colorado. When you got 16s, 9s, 14s. Horrible decision, Sleepy. But we're gonna leave it there, man. Y'all make sure y'all like, share, and subscribe, man. I appreciate y'all for watching. They got some work. They got some work they got to do, dog. I can't sit here and just be like, oh, it's great. They got a lot of work that they got to do, dog. Horrible. It's freaking horrible, man. But yeah, y'all make sure y'all like, share, subscribe. I appreciate y'all for watching the vids. I kind of been a little lackadaisical, you know what I'm saying? I got some other things to talk about. But I kind of been lackadaisical with the footage lately. But I got some other things coming out. Y'all be patient. Stand by. It's definitely coming. Again, follow me on my Instagram at _Kings. That is with a Z. And always remember, man, put your seatbelts on, man. Get ready for this ride. I'll see you next time. Peace.
How many ride with no kid? When we was kids, used to share a nigga rib. And when things got crazy, a nigga spin the bin. And if things get crazy, a nigga split the wig. Hey, I'm just grind, dog. I don't need no haters, all. If it's not about the bitch, it means you just talking, dog. Riding around with yeah. Gotta grind hard, gotta stack it, yeah.